Hi, everyone. Welcome to this music preview of an upcoming performance, part of the Note for Note music series at the Highland Park Public Library. I'm Juan Reyes, and today I will be talking with John Baleen, representative and band member of the Rio Bamba Quartet. Welcome, John. Thank you for joining us for this music preview.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Let's get started. So, first question for you: can you tell us a little bit about the history of the Rio Bamba Quartet?
Well, the Rio Bamba, the band has been around for quite a long time. It was originally started by a fellow named John Garvey. He's just a local Chicago musician who had heard some bossa novas, and he thought, I'd like to learn how to do that. And so he and several of his friends started learning how to play bossa novas. And I joined the band about 11 years ago, for much the same reason. I had some acquaintance with Brazilian jazz and bossa novas, and I wanted to learn more, and I hooked up with John Garvey and increased my knowledge of the music of Brazil. John Garvey passed away, 5-6 years ago now, and so the band has evolved a lot over the 15 or 16 year history of the band from when it started to now. And today the band consists of myself. I'm the guitar player. Luis Everling is the percussionist drummer. Marcel Bonfim is the bass player, and Kisen Shu is the singer. We're continuing to explore sort of classic Brazilian jazz and bossa nova. But that's our history in a nutshell. Oddly enough, the band is named after a town in some place that John Garvey had visited, which isn't actually in Brazil, but he liked the name. So for a Brazilian band named after someplace else.
Well, sometimes the name fits the band.
He had a vision, and it wasn't always coherent, but he had a vision, and Rio Bamba the name was part of it, and we've kept it ever since because we like it.
And now, for those of you watching, make sure you mark your calendars for Sunday, September 29th at 2 p.m. here at the Highland Park Library, because you won't want to miss this live performance with Rio Bamba. And, talking about that live performance, John, can you tell us or share a little bit about maybe the music? You said the bossa novas, Brazilian jazz.
All the members in the band play a variety of different musics, but we're really interested in sort of classic bossa nova. So we play a lot of songs by Antonio Carlos Jobim. We play songs by Marcos Valle. A lot of the people who were developing this style in the late 50s, 60s, and really kind of in the 70s. We play some more contemporary stuff, and we play some things that are sort of more jazz influenced. But the classic bossa nova, and we also play some samba, which is fairly more danceable, a little earlier than the bossa nova. I got interested in the music when I was in school. I studied classical guitar in college, and a lot of really interesting guitar repertoire comes from South America. And my teacher at the time was very interested in a bunch of Brazilian guitarists. And so I came to the band sort of out of playing Brazilian popular music, some Brazilian classical guitar music, and there's a lot of guitar players who are somewhere in between these various genres. There's a lot of really interesting guitar music coming out of Brazil that led me to the band. The drummer Luis Everling and Marcel Bonfim, they're both from Brazil, and so they bring a real sort of down-home Brazilian approach to the whole thing. They know the music quite well. They can say the names of the songs properly, which I have a hard time doing. And Keishan, our singer, is sort of new to bossa nova. He comes out of a jazz background. Very good.
When it comes to the instruments, are there any like unique instruments or special instruments that
Traditionally, the bossa nova guitarists played on nylon string acoustic guitars. We don't. I play a jazz guitar, an electric archtop guitar, partly because it's easier to amplify. So if we're playing at a dance club or a bar, you can hear me. But so the sound of the group is acoustic archtop guitar, and then the drum set is pretty much a standard drum set. Although Luis tunes his drums so they sound appropriate. There's a whole long tradition of percussion music in Brazil, which is the sound of his drums are different from, say, a heavy metal drum set, which has different kind of resonance. So we look like a regular band. We worked on getting the sound right. Marcel will either play electric bass or acoustic upright bass, depending on the event. And both the acoustic bass and the upright bass are sort of found in regular bossa nova bands. The roles of the instruments are perhaps more different than the instruments themselves. There's a stylistically correct way of being the bass player or the guitar player or the drummer to get the bossa nova groove to sound like a bossa nova groove rather than something else. And so one of the things that's been interesting for me, I did a lot of work with various jazz bands, and we would often say, let's play a Latin tune, right? And we would play some sort of Latin American sounding rhythm. But Luis and Marcel, having lived in Brazil, they're very specific about this is this kind of bossa nova, this is this kind of samba. So they bring a lot of real detail to the feel of the music, which is quite exciting.
It's exciting for sure. And when it comes to the audience, is there something that, when you perform, that you hope the audience takes away from those like sounds, the music, those like rhythms?
Well, we hope they have a good time. It is a festive music, and I know when there are Brazilians in the audience, people dance quite a bit, which always makes us happy. We have no special mission except for people to have a good time. We like it when people enjoy our music. We like it when they dance. We like it when they engage with us. Kiki and I played at a library. We played one of the Brazilian classics, Girl from Ipanema. And there's an actual person who was sort of the inspiration for this song. And one of the audience members stood up and shouted, I was her next door neighbor. And it turned out like we were playing this song, and the audience member grew up in Rio, and they had been on the beach, and they knew the girl from Ipanema. So that was really exciting for us. It was really fun, and I like that.
They're like 6 degrees of separation,
Right.
Now this is like next door neighbor. That's like way closer.
Yeah.
And finally, are there any projects, any concerts, anything upcoming for you, or like how can fans like keep up with like your music news and performance and things like that?
Well, the best way to keep up with us is we have a Rio Bamba Band page on Instagram, and we have a Rio Bamba Band page on Facebook. And at the moment, we're just finishing up our summer residency. We have been at there's a place on Montrose Beach called The Dock, a little restaurant up right on the sand. And we've been there every Monday, every summer for the past 11 years. But our last performance of the summer there is next Monday. So you have one day to catch us there, and then we're still looking to line up what we're going to do this fall. We find some place that will have us on a regular basis, but we also do a lot of private parties, and corporate events. So we're always doing something. We haven't got a big public event coming up for a little bit, but we're working on it. We'll have something shortly, so check our various media posts if you want to come out and samba dance with us.
Yeah. And I think John provided us the different links to the social media platforms, and those will be included in the description if you would like to check them out. And yeah, it's going to be a great show. We're really excited. To host you here at the Highland Park Library. And once again, if you are watching us, well, thank you for watching us. And make sure you mark those calendars for Sunday, September 29th at 2 p.m. here at the library. It's going to be in our adult services room. So come in, grab a spot and enjoy some great music. If you would like to know more information about other upcoming performers, you can also check us out on our website, hplibrary.org. Under the programs and events, you'll find a link to Note for Note concert series, and that's where you can find out more information. John, thank you so much for doing this music preview. We hope to see everybody at the library. All right. Thanks, John.
See you all.